I'm not the biggest fan of chain. The best part, and I am so proud of myself for this. What is missing on the back of this? What are you all? What's here? What's here? What's not here? Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of Losing My Knit. I'm Jeff, and as usual, buckle up. It's been a month. February flew by. It's the end of February. I still have no idea where that went. I have one finished object, information about a previously finished object, 3 active works in progress, and then of course the things I'm obsessed with and I really want to cast on, but I'm doing my best not to. And a couple of acquisitions. None of them are yarn yet. Tomorrow, we'll just leave it at that. So yeah, I hope you have had a great February and you are looking forward to March. Yeah, let's jump right in. So I am wearing the So Basic by Maxims here. Just a basic raglan. There's a little bit of detail on the sleeve, you can see here. I do like that detail. It is on Universal Yarns Zesty Sock. It's very plump, as I found out when I knit a hat out of it. I just knew I was going to make these cool like micro striping areas. And I was like, that would look really, really cool. I did make it oversized. It's I made the largest size, but I wanted it like a roomy sweatshirt feel. And it's actually warm enough here in Boston. I'm sweating. Maybe I should have just worn my t-shirt, but that's okay. Maybe I'll cool down as we get through this. Probably not, because I'm going to put more wool on. Yeah, I recommend it. I think I was a little confused at some points. The big modification that I made is I did a folded over collar. It just adds a little bit more structure, ties it in a little bit. I found the 2 sweater patterns by Max that I've done have had really, and the larger sizes have had really loose collars, so they've been really like boat necky almost. And so I've had to really pull them in. I have decided I'm gonna correct my hide and peak sweater. I am gonna do a much smaller needle, folded over a ribbed collar. I don't wear it because the collar bothers me, and so it's worth the time. And doing this the first time made it. It was work, but I think I am confident enough now to I'll put a lifeline in and then I'll cut that collar because I know I have extra yarn, and then I'll knit it up. So let's jump into finished objects. So the first one, I got all prepared and I still forgot it. I just wanted to do a little update on this one. This is my Arden pullover. You can't really see it that well. This test knit that I did for Rastus shoe, it is being released as of right now. He believes March 6th. So definitely keep an eye out for that pattern. It was nice. I love doing it. It was very relaxing. These cables over here are just, I mean, it's beautiful, that big cable. But yeah, so March 6th, excited to see it. I'll put a post on my Instagram with the fun photos that we took this past weekend, where I had 7 finished objects that I just had not taken any photos. So that's the big plus right now. I am fully caught up on Ravelry. All the photos are on there. All my projects are in there. My active projects are not. I usually don't put them on there until I do the finished object photos. But I track everything in my my tracker, which I've talked about before. The big finished object, the new finished object, is my Cosima cowl. That is a lot more stark on camera than it is in person. It is, if we had different light. Oh, no, it's pretty stark on there, yeah. So it's pretty stark in person, but it's not as noticeable. So this is made with, again, this is by Rastus shoe, the Cosima cowl. It's this beautiful graphic design. The yarn is by Claws Out Yarn Co., Katie. They are from her Chapel Roan collection, so the teal, and it's coming across blue there, but it's more green in person. The teal is casual, and the gray is super moderate ultra graphic. Love the yarn, love the pattern. The color's beautiful. There's that one, so this one skein is darker. Like, it is darker in person. But it kind of, if I would have, I should have laid them out because it actually would go better with, I would have a harsh juxtaposition anyway, but like between these two skeins are closer in color than these two. But it works, you know, you wrap it around. Let me take these off. Like I said, I'm hot. You're gonna see me dab a lot today. But you can wear it a couple ways. You can wear it like this, like under your coat. It just makes this beautiful pattern. But then, you know, obviously, the way I will most likely wear it in Boston weather, it's like this. That's oversized, very soft. I don't know, I love it. It was simple. It took little under a month. I would have finished a lot faster, but I didn't want to seam it. But I did. I seamed it. It's not pretty, but it works, and I was consistent in what it looked like, and that's all that really mattered. And I can make sure that that is always folded up inside the part in the back of my neck where you can't see it. So yeah, just one more view of it. I just love how graphic it is, and Katie did such a good job with I think technically it's tonal, but there's some pretty, it's like a variegated tonal, like there's some pretty wide changes in the colors, which I like, and like that darker streak you see kind of right here. Yeah. I'm gonna have to cut that. I love Rastus's patterns. So those are my challenges. I do have one. I've mentioned this in every podcast, but we moved last fall. And one of the things that I found, but then I immediately forgot that I found it, is from, I'm going to say late 2018. No idea what the pattern is. AC Moore craft store was going out of business up here. And I was in the go big or go home phase. And so we went and I bought, not a lot, but like a good number of these skeins of this acrylic gray. And I was like, I want a big scarf. This was right before Lenny Kravitz did that whole blanket scarf thing. And I was like, I had learned how to cable without needles. I was like, you know what? I really want to do a cable project. So I made this scarf, which it's gotta be 10 feet long, a couple feet wide. Like, so we've talked about this. I'm over 6 feet tall. This is the scarf. Like, I can't even get far enough back for you to see it. Like, it's ridiculous. We also live in an old house. That was my chair rolling up and hitting the desk. There's nothing flat in this entire house. But yeah, this is my ridiculous scarf. I don't wear it as much anymore because it is like, it's a commitment to wear. Like, if you want to wear it, you have to really style it. You have to be able to wear it under something. But yeah, it's fun. Tim's family was here visiting, a couple of years ago. And they were not prepared for how cold it got in October. And we gave this to his mom, and his mom's, I don't know, maybe 5 feet, just over 5 feet. And she could just wrap it around her multiple times. But yeah, from the archives, I figured I would, if I find some older stuff that I haven't shown before, I'd pull it out and show you all. Yeah, we're going to leave those off. I'm too sweaty. They're sliding off. Look at that. There we go. Works in progress. Let's move on to that. I spent most of this month getting the blanket for my sister, getting it underway. I had broken it down. I knew I needed to do, X number of rows. Basically, it's 4 big squares of 25 squares each. I knew I needed to do basically one of the big squares a week, a month, and then a row and 6 squares every week to meet that goal, to have it done for July. I started it, and it was going a lot faster than I thought it would. So the first 10 days, I finished the entire first square. It is not the first square in the pattern, because I just read it wrong, and so I think this is technically square 3. Um, but it's using 5 different colors. You can see from this corner, um, the whites here, the green, blue, the blue, and the light blue. And then they just go all the way across and crisscross. And so I was like, I am making progress. Let me keep going forward. Let me move forward a little bit more. So I got 3 rows into the next square. And so you can see, we introduced, it's the same 5 colors from the first one, but then we've introduced, this is a very, very pale, is that it? No, it's on the side. This is a very, very pale yellow. That's not white on white. Like, it's a very, very pale yellow, or a cream even. And then the white, and then like what I would call the peach, the pink, and then like the purple, for lack of a better word. But yeah, so I did those, and then once I hit the third one, I realized I had enough cushion, and I could take a little bit of a break from this to work on another project that I had started for Tim, and also do my granny square triangle. So this has been on hold for about 10 days while I did a couple of other things, and I will show you what those are. But I'm excited. I think this has been fun. It's good. I like it. It's more, mitered squares are fun. I know people are like, what? I don't want to do a mitered square. But I'm like, this is actually really, I've enjoyed it. It's very, having the countdown to each square and then changing to the new color. I'm not the biggest fan of changing it. The best part, and I am so proud of myself for this, what is missing on the back of this? What's here? What's not here? I have been so good. I have woven in. I'm not allowed to start the next strip until my ends are woven in. So this is done. There's no end weaving in that has to happen for this until I stitch it together with the 3 around it, or the 2 that directly touch it, and the border. Point for me. Same thing with this. No ends. I sewed them in. Go me. that was a distraction, but like, I knew after knitting Tim's crazy sweater, his striped sweater, the Lapisinger, Lapisgenser, the fleece sweater, I knew ends. I do not like weaving in ends, and so I was like, I have to weave them in as I go on this, because this is going to be way too big, and I know I have a deadline and crunch time. I wasn't going to be able to do it, so pat me on my back. Go me. So yeah, that's part of what took a little bit of time. In addition to those, that first square took 10 days. And so, I was expecting each strip to take roughly 7, maybe 6. And so like, I now know if I have to, I can crunch time it, but I'm just going to take a break. I'll probably do a couple, try and get 2 done before we go on vacation, in 2 weeks, get this square finished. And then I can just, when we come back, power through the next 2 squares. So that's where I spent a lot of my time. This next project that lives in my crazy IKEA cheap rainbow bag. This next project, I'm not going to show you the bag because that's part of acquisitions, but I cast on and got all the way to the join of the Hudola, or Hudola. So it's Laura Malkin. Also, I forgot to say the last pattern was the Hue Shift Afghan, by Knit Picks. This is by Laura. Is it Melkin or Nelkin? Nelkin with an N. This is for Tim. We bought this yarn in 2021. You can see I'm about 3 rows into where it comes together. We bought this yarn back in 2021. It is CC's Wool Peruvian Tweed Superfine Alpaca. They classify it as a worsted, and I think that's because it's a thin yarn, but it's very warm, and it's fluffing up the longer it's out of the skein, the hank. And so we bought it with a different hood in mind that had a much larger cowl shoulder covering. So not only do I have the caked up one and the hood, I have an extra 600 yards. And it is very, very soft. Let me see if I can show you their logo so you can see CC's wool. Oh, that way, no shadow. It's very soft, and it's actually, I was gonna say it's nice to work with. It is a pain to work with. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but you can see how fluffy it is and how light it is. But you see that there's a lighter color going through it, and that I think is helping it hold its structure. But what it's doing, maybe from up here, yeah. So see how there's a lighter color in there, almost like a marl, is it splits. And I use Chow needles, and they're pretty sharp. And so like I find myself every row having to either fix one or, recapture both pieces of one. And it's not bad. I've just had to make sure my tension stays a little looser so that I'm catching it and I'm making sure I'm catching it and I'm not just like piercing through it every time. But this is a good pattern. I think it's, even though she addressed an issue, you can't see it very well. You can just see my finger through there, right up here. And she addressed it. Like, you may have a little bit of laddering there. She said how to not do it, but it still happened to me. But like with wear, it's going to be fine. So yeah, I'm past the decreases, and now I'm just doing a 2x2 ribbing for however long we want it. Because if you've seen the photo, and I can pop I'll pop one in here. What you do is you pull it on, and the ribbing can be folded up almost as a balaclava over your face. So yeah, I am going to do. It's kind of curling in, which is really interesting. It hadn't been curling in, but the second I put it in the round, the I-cord edge curled in. I am going to do the added I-cord tightener so that like you can tighten it around your face if you wanted to. So that'll slow me down a little bit because I think I have to pick up all these stitches. But yeah, it's neat. It's pretty. This yarn, I will say, it is very soft. It's also going to be very warm. I could not wear this as a hood. I would sweat the second it went on. But Tim seems to think he'll be okay wearing it. So yeah, that's my hood. Hopefully it'll be in a place where I can put it on next time. Or I'll get a picture before I put it on, or before I film next time. So yeah, that's where that is. My third finished object, and my third work in progress. So both of those were new cast-ons. The Hue Shift Afghan and the Hidolo were new cast-ons. This is the only one that I've carried forward. Finished the Cosima Cowl. This is my granny square triangle blanket that I'm making. It's from the Woolly 2022 Woolly Dragon Literary Adventures Yarn Club. It's on BFLDK. If you remember, this is from January. The Classics is what it was. It's that cool color pulling. It kind of looks like flowers, I think someone said. So January, February was inspired by romance. It's not the photo, but I just kind of get like a woman in a peach or a pink dress walking through a field when I look at this. And like, if you've seen a Jane Austen, I call them fan fiction novels, but inspired by or updating of a Jane Austen novel, you know what I'm talking about when I say a woman in a peach or a red dress walking through a field. So there's that second one. All right, glasses back on. The garbage men came. We live on a dead-end road, so they have to back down it, and you hear them beeping the whole time, and then they're banging the cans, and they're vrooming on the way out. So like, I had to take a break, put these on because I was reading something, and I'm just gonna leave them on now because I think I'm cooled off enough. So I was talking about March on the granny square blanket, granny triangle blanket, because I didn't want to do squares. So this is March. It is inspired by thrillers. I love the blues and the blacks and the grays, and every now and then you'll have like one really, really dark black one you can see kind of down there. Like it just falls perfectly, and the pooling is so nice. Yeah, so I finished that. Like I said, I finished that this morning. I was trying to, because I don't crochet very often, I when I started this square over the weekend, I got probably halfway through it and realized my tension was way too tight. Couldn't tell you. I think it's either a half double or a double crochet. I don't know. I watched a video. She said what it was. She was British, but I think it was American. It's crochet. It's the same all the way across, but the stitches were significantly smaller, so I had to completely undo it and start over again. And then my goal was to finish it last night, but I finished it this morning. So that's 3 of the, I'm going to say 12, but probably 16. That club was 12, but I have 2 of January because I loved that rainbow, the rainbow with the black. So that gets me to 13, and then I think I have 4 from another DK literary club that same year. So I think I might do 16, and then what I'm trying to decide is what I'm going to do with this double one. Is maybe I'll have them form a triangle in the middle, like do them like this together, like a bigger triangle, or maybe I'll have them form a square. Not sure. I think if it's 4 by 4, the triangle will be the coolest. Or maybe like opposite triangles like this way, like this. I'm doing this like I don't have these right here. Let me fold them in half so it's a little bit easier to see. So like instead of doing a square like this, and this is half, reversing them out and doing it like this. And make that one of the two of the middle ones. But who knows? I will figure that out in December maybe when I get through all of those. And that's assuming I do a couple extra a month. That is all my works in progress. I think the next, so like I said, I don't do a lot. 3 is a lot for me. I do have, actually those are my 3 active works in progress. I do have a 4th one, my jelly roll blanket. But I have not. I think I've added maybe 2 inches to it because I've been working on my sister's blanket. Like that has sort of taken the place of my, I wouldn't call it mindless. Knitting is not mindless to me. It helps me focus on other things. So I guess, yes, it's mindless in that I don't have to focus on the knit stitch, but it's sort of like helping me narrow my focus onto something else so my hands aren't fidgeting or I'm not like scrolling 20 different things in a meeting. But it's my bigger, more simple project. My sister's blanket is versus my jelly roll, which I'll get back to eventually, especially if I stay moving along like I am with the Hue Shift Afghan. So those are all my works in progress. Yay me. I do have an upcoming cast on. I asked everyone last month what I should knit on vacation. We're going on a cruise to the Caribbean. And I was like, I don't want to use wool. And y'all love some socks. Like, I will eventually bring, when I do a From the Archives, I will grab the couple. I've made 2 real pair of socks, like, so from sock yarn fingering. 1 pair that I was just trying to figure out how to do socks. I think it's on a DK, so they don't match. They're leftovers from something else. They're one of each color. And then 1 crazy sock, which is just scraps from all those 2 DK socks that I made in the 3rd color that I didn't have enough of. I will bring those, but so I have a size 13 foot extra wide. So like, I may as well just make a hat. That sounds okay. That sounds bad. But like, I mean, when you think about it, when you think about how big my foot is, how high you're gonna want to go up on your ankle, and then you make 2 of them. Like, I'm also make a hat. My feet are also very hot. I wear flip flops and slides for most of the year. I will say this month I've worn socks more than I ever have with my slides because my toes have gotten a little cold. Maybe I'm getting old. I say that, and I know that the majority of people watching this are, you got some time, you've got some age on me, so like, I'm not that old. I know that. But yeah, so I don't, socks I don't know if I would wear. I also don't know, I haven't found my recipe. I know everybody talks about you have to make a bunch to find your recipe, and I'm like, I don't want to make a bunch to find my recipe. I just want a recipe that works. But I will. I think I will get back because I have a couple of sock sets that I would love to actually use, make the contrasting heel and toe, which would be really cool. Anyway, so you all want me to do socks. I don't want to do socks. I also don't want to do a hat. There's a pile of yarn right here on my desk. I have a really long desk. There's a pile of yarn on my desk of, some of it is yarn that I've used to make hats for Tim. Some of it is yarn that we bought to make a hat for him, but I think it's worsted spun, so it comes apart pretty easily, and so like my tension at the time, I was too tight of a knitter to be able to use it. I was breaking it constantly. I feel more confident now that I can relax my tension enough to be able to use it. So I found those when I was doing a cleanup recently. I was cleaning up all my leftover yarns, like all the balls that you have that are left over. And I found those and I was like, these are like 90% of a skein. They're not gonna go in that box. They need to go somewhere else. So I pulled all those out, and so I'm gonna be making some hats over the summer. That's one of my go-to projects. But what I've decided is I'm going to create a project bag. I was hoping to have one of these caked up, but these are my two linen, the two skeins of linen. I rehanged it because it was like kind of falling apart and going everywhere, but then I can't get the label back on. These are my two linen skeins that we got on our cruise to, when we were in Scandinavia last summer. They are from Visby, Sweden, in Gotland. I'm not even gonna try and pronounce the Stenkerka Ulspineri is the mill. They do wool as well, and I did get some wool. I got, I think, 3 shades of gray, which are it's just beautiful, very fluffy. I don't think those are Gotland wool. I have other Gotland wool, but I liked the idea of getting some linen. So what I'm planning to do is to take these two and start swatching this week and next. Or actually just next week, down to a week before we go on the cruise. So I'm going to swatch. I have it in my head. I really want to do linen stitch with linen. That may fail miserably, but that's what I'm going to try and do. So there are a couple of bags that I might look at. There's one by Yarn Inspirations and one by Pearl Soho that I'm not going to do the pattern. I'm just going to use them for the stitch count, because what I would like is I want a bag that has a flat bottom and sort of the 4 sides, and I don't want it to be super holey. Like, I don't want it to be crocheted. I don't want it to be like lace work. A lot of market bags have that, which is great. And I know I made a couple for a cousin who, newborn cousin, could blanket in there. And like, oh, they don't, if they grow out of the blanket, they can still use the bag for toys and stuff. And they were nice, but like because I'm thinking of this as a potential project bag, and I don't want my needles to fall. I mean, my needles are cable needles, but like I don't want them to fall out or poke out. So I do want it to be a little bit of a tighter stitch. So that's going to be interesting. I am already concerned I don't have enough to do what I want to do, and I know they don't ship to America. So I may have to try and figure out if I can find someone over there who can buy it, send it to me, and I'll send them money. Like, we'll see. I mean, I may also be able to find something local, but I like the idea of keeping it all from yarn from there, linen from there. So that's going to be my cast on. I'm going to do that, and I'll take Tim's Padola for like anytime I'm in the air conditioning and I can knit. So I'll that'll be on the plane and in the evenings in the room, maybe. So that's my next cast on. I'm excited about it. I've never worked with linen, so it'll be fun. That's my question. One of my questions later is, what do you do with linen? Have you worked with linen? Do you like it? This is 100% linen, so it's not a cotton blend. I know a lot of people have used cotton linen blends. I may have used a cotton linen blend, but this is 100% linen, so it'll be good. I know it can wear on your hands, so I'm going to be very careful about that. And that's why I'm going to make sure I have another project and a couple of books, and it's going to be a great vacation. So that is my only upcoming cast on. After that, no immediate plans. Yeah. Acquisitions. I have done good. I have not bought any yarn. That will change tomorrow. There's if Mezzo Makes is releasing her Baja Blast and 1990s Taco Bell yarn, and I did not get it the last time, and I regretted it. So I'm 100% buying two, maybe four skeins, two of each. We'll see. I would love to make a sweater's quantity out of it, but that's like over $200 for the size sweater I would need. Because I could just imagine like the body being the Taco Bell, like it's a white with the purples and the teals, and then the Baja Blast is a teal. So like imagine the body white with those like flecks, and then like teal cuff and hem and sleeve cuffs. That would have been beautiful, beautiful. But I can't afford it, so I'll buy two, maybe four skeins, because I know I have two friends that would. We grew up going to Taco Bell. That's like as soon as we got our driver's licenses, it was either there or a local restaurant. Yeah, so I feel like both of them would absolutely love it if they got a surprise Taco Bell hat. And I think I can probably get three hats out of maybe four sets of, or I can absolutely get three hats out of four fingering. So maybe I'll do two GK, two finger. Who knows? This is all assuming I can buy it. So fingers crossed I can buy it. Let's talk about we'll say the elephant in the room. The little elephant in the room. So if you have noticed, I have a blanket rack. I am very disappointed in this blanket rack. I really wanted one that was about 6 feet tall. That is not. It barely hits 5 feet tall. And it is on me. I misread that it has 6 rungs, which it doesn't. So that's also misleading. So it's supposed to have 6 rungs. It's just over 5 feet tall. You can see it's very, very crowded. So like there's just 2 shawls there, 2 shawls there, 1 scarf there, and then on the bottom one there's 2 additional ones. You can't really see because they're very dark. But like, see how tall the shelf is? I want it to be at least close to that height, at least the top rung. So the top rung I want about here, maybe about here. Because between the door and the shelf, like it just looks out of place. I do think when I get the one I really like, it'll be over a little bit more, so balanced right here. But like the shelf there, I can barely do 2 fists. So like nothing goes on there. I think that's a hat. There's 1 shawl and a hat stacked on top of it, and you can see it's almost filled that shelf. So like the photos were so misleading. Like whatever they had, like a woman's outfit hanging on it, and like that must have been a child's outfit or an extra small woman's outfit. Like it's just everything about it is smaller than it looked like in the photos. I think I found one I like. We'll see. Maybe I'll have a new one next time, but this one we're just going to put upstairs. I think it would be fine like in a foyer by itself, but the fact that it's surrounded by the door, which is whatever a standard size door is, maybe 7 feet or 6.5 feet. No, it's definitely 7 feet. And the shelves, which are taller, it just looks out of place. But I did fill it. This is what I eventually wanted to look like. The other 2 acquisitions I've got. So it was Valentine's Day, and Tim is lovely and adorable, and he ordered me a bag. He got it off Etsy. It's this beautiful blue. It's a waxed canvas, and what he did, and he was so excited about this, is he goes, since you're podcasting now, I wanted to get you something with your name on it, and it's Losing My Knit on a little leather thing right there. And I was like, that is the most adorable thing ever. It's got these leather straps. He keeps asking me if I'm using this part so you can do like the color work through it, and I was like, that makes me anxious, like putting yarn through there that then has to stay in there until you're done with the project or you cut the yarn, but I will use it eventually. The other part that he was excited about, and I do like it, was that it has the drawstring on the inside. So like you can pull it up, and you can push down on it, and then you've got a little bit more room, and it's more secure. And he's like, oh, you can use that for travel. And yeah, I absolutely can. I think it's a good option for travel. I don't know if it's big enough for me when we travel. You can't see it. I usually use my sail bag, which is made from sailcloth and has a zipper on top, so it's a little more secure and it's water resistant. This would be too, but yeah. how cute is that? That's just, and it's a good workhorse bag. It's got quite a few pockets on the inside. I think there's one big one on the side, and you can see the stitching because of colors. But oh yeah, you can. You know, there's a couple of needle holders on the side and another big pocket. So yeah, that was one of my Valentine's Day presents. The other Valentine's Day present is hilarious. If I remember, I'll grab a picture and we'll put it right here. We're gonna put it in our downstairs guest bathroom. It's basically one of those paintings of your dog on the toilet reading newspaper, and it looks just like Barnaby when he was a puppy. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get a photo, and I'll put it right there. The only other acquisition I have is I splurged. One of the local yarn stores was having a sale, and I bought the Lumos lights. And it's a mixed review for me. We'll say that. I like how long they are. So down here. I like how flexible they are. You know, this. I don't like how narrow their light beam is. It is bright. That is nice, but I don't like how narrow it is. So like, even at its widest, it's like maybe this wide. And so if you take the two, why am I having issues with that? If you take the two, you know, you might get my hand's width. And I get that that's enough if you can narrow it exactly to where you need it when you're knitting. Like, I mean, I don't have knitting needles right here, but like I get that, like, you know, if you can do that. But what that makes it is that you have to hold perfectly still. Like, you can't move around. And like, I move around when I knit, like, you know, just to keep my shoulders stay comfortable. And so like I'll like be knitting, and then all of a sudden the light's like over here on my wrist, and like I can't see what I'm doing, especially with like this brown yarn. And I'm like, what? So that really annoys me. I do like, it's, you know, it's got what is it, the white, the blue, and the natural lights, and I like that. But yeah, that's the piece I think that annoys me the most, is that the light is just so like so narrow. They're very bright. They are brighter than the cheap Amazon ones that I was using before. They do hold a charge a lot longer than those Amazon ones, but those Amazon ones, they had a bigger, I don't know if it's a bigger bulb, but the area they covered was like each one could cover, you know, the size of my palm, and my palm's not small. So like I had a much bigger area, and maybe it was overkill, but like I needed that. Maybe it's just what I'm knitting. Who knows? But I do like them. I don't think they're worth paying full price. I will be very honest about that. For me, not worth full price. As much as I like how flexible, I mean, these are, as much as I like how flexible these are, and these are a lot more flexible, I don't think they're worth that markup. You can find some relatively inexpensive ones on Amazon. But if that is what matters to you, and you are a knitter that holds yourself perfectly still, perfect for you. I guess I wiggle around too much. So those are my acquisitions. And that's it. We're at the end. I've got, like I said, I've got a couple of questions. That big one is if you have any tips on working with linen. I know it can be rough on your hands. There's no give. So like, that to me reminds me of when I did a cotton sweatshirt type thing that had a lot of yarn overs and knit multiple togethers. I remember my hands hurting quite a bit, so like I'm mentally prepared for that, I think. But yeah, any advice you have on that, I'd love to hear it. Have you worked with linen, or do you prefer like a linen mix? I think, yeah. Other question: what are you all working on? I'd love to hear about it. I know, you know, we're going into spring. It was 50 for the first 50 Fahrenheit, 50 degrees for the first time this week since mid-December. So like, it felt like spring. I legit walked from my car all the way across this really long parking lot to inside the local Costco, and it was like 40 degrees. I'm like, this feels wonderful. This is great. And then it hit 50, and I'm like, all right, shorts, t-shirt, let's go. It's been a very cold winter here. So like, those of you that are going into winter, what are you excited to knit? Like, are you excited to pick up a blanket or a sweater? And those of you like me going into summer, what's up? What are you knitting? I've seen people start to knit like t-shirts and stuff, and like, I don't know if a t-shirt would work for me. I mean, I'm sure I could make it work. But yeah, like, are you knitting t-shirts, bags, socks? You gonna do some sock knitting this summer? I'm I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna do it, but it's gonna be a while before I do another pair of socks. Yeah. Let me know below. I'd love to hear what you're working on. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on what I'm working on. I think, I don't know, I had fun this month. I had fun. I flew by, but I had fun crafting. I feel like I never lost my craft mojo, but the big thing is, and I'm not going to talk about it. I blog about books, but I started to read again. After I finished my degree last summer, I really fell off on reading for fun, and throughout the degree as well. But I've also been thinking about this and enjoying this. I still don't know how people vlog, podcast more frequently. There was a time at about between like week 2 and 3 where I was like, oh, I could totally do another episode. And then I was like, nope, I'm going to stick with monthly for now because getting all of this ready, like, and I do not have a professional setup. I do not have a lot of stuff, but like getting my projects from my desk project, my downstairs project, and then the granny square one, granny triangle one that lives in the attic, getting those together, making sure I had my list ready, my patterns ready, knowing that I'm going to need to edit this, like, that's a commitment. Maybe I'll do a live, not anytime soon, but maybe over the summer, once we've got a few more people involved. I mean, hey, probably should have said earlier, welcome to the new people. Great to see you, everyone who came back, especially that OG 87. I maybe we'll do something like that, but I think monthly works for me. Right now I'm on track to have a finished object each month, which is great. So that'll be when I blog again, if in early April, or when I release basically my March recap, that first weekend in April. This Hoodola should be totally done. Hopefully, maybe I'll have a bag. I always knit. I always get a lot of knitting done on vacation. So who knows? But yeah, anyway, I'm rambling. I hope you all have a wonderful March. I hope your February was great. Yeah, and so casting off for now. I will see you in about a month.